From New York, it's That Kevin Show.
See, I knew it.
Come on, Kev. What's a few classified documents between friends?
I told you all the time. I knew it. I knew he had some too.
Here he is, That Kevin. Kevin McCullough.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my next guest is someone that I have not only admired from afar, but I've had the distinct privilege of getting to work with him up close. In fact, as he began his journey down the road in a weekday radio show a few years ago, I was lucky enough to get to sit in a seat next to him and kind of introduce guests and throw to break and some of that other stuff. And over the course of the next few years, had some great conversations and learned a lot. He has now published a book titled How Far Do You Want to Go? Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome New York's most beloved billionaire, John Catsimatidis. Hey, John, how are you? Good to see you.
Oh, I am well. The sun is shining, and we came out of the pandemic, and our country is well. It could be better in a lot of respects, but hopefully the next year or so will be even better.
Well, that's one of the things I've always loved about you is that you try to see the positive side. You always try to have like a kind of a centrist, common sense, kind of find the glass half full kind of perspective. And John, the book that you've written is all about lessons that you've learned in your life as you've lived it and passing on some of those lessons to those that are reading. I'm curious, at this stage, running a big, busy media company like you do now, obviously operating the entire world of Red Apple and Gristedes and the energy business and everything else, what made you want to take the time out to write this book?
Well, first of all, I believe in our country. I came here at 6 months old. I remember the days when I was 6 years old, and I went down to the Immigration Bureau or to swear allegiance to the United States of America. I remember getting my American citizenship papers, and America has been good to my family and to our families. And I wanted to tell the kids in the inner city, I wanted to tell the immigrants that America is the greatest city in the world, that if I can make it here as a Greek immigrant from a little island in the middle of nowhere in the Aegean Sea, that if you keep your nose clean, use common sense, and you can make it too. And that's right how I go into Harlem, and I'm chairman of the Police Athletic League.
Right.
And I go and I say to them, kids, I'm from here. If you keep your nose clean, you can make it too. And if I can make the difference in 5 kids, 10 kids, 20 kids, 30 kids, then I can go home and sleep that night because I made the difference in a few kids. And that's important to me.
Well, it's certainly something that always came across in my time working with you. And I always appreciated that, John, that you obviously have been super successful. You're the consummate American dream story come to life, but you've also never forgot where you came from. And so your work with the kids has always spoken very loudly, at least to my own heart. So I love that. This particular book asks a very interesting question. How far do you want to go? If somebody had asked John Catsimatidis that when he was 10, 11, 12, 15 years of age, would you have ever believed it would have led to where you ended up?
Well, I remember, I had a 5-inch television set. When I went to kindergarten, I didn't speak English well because my parents only spoke Greek at home. And I just wanted to do better. I wanted to escape. I remember watching Burke's Law about a detective with a Rolls Royce. And I used to say, oh my God, I wish I can have a Rolls Royce someday. And then you see shows like Darling, I Love You, but I'll take Park Avenue. And you say, I'd love to be able to live on Park Avenue.
Green Acres, yes.
And these kids need something to dream about, something to want to do better. And the other thing that I ended up having many mentors, and I listened to them. And what these kids do need is mentors. And that's what we try to provide as a Police Athletic League, for kids to make themselves better.
For people that are not from New York and have not been here, New York has a lot of, and I love advocating for our city on this show, because like television shows of old, I don't think you can sing the praises of this city enough. And I want people to come here and to experience it and to really drink in what it is to be a part of New York. But in terms of where we are in recent history and kind of examining, kind of post-pandemic versus pre-pandemic versus maybe a decade ago versus prior to that, a lot of people have doubts and questions about New York City. If you were talking to the nation tonight, what would your message be about where New York is at in terms of safety, in terms of life, in terms of being back? What's your message to the rest of the world about New York?
Evan, I am scared. I am scared for my city, my state, my country. I think our country is under attack. I think that there are many forces in the world that are looking to attack us. The border crisis, where I'm an immigrant and I love immigration, but you cannot have people crossing those borders that we don't know if they're terrorists. We don't know if they're dope peddlers. And we can't allow that to happen. And I can't believe our government is allowing that to happen. And our universities, a lot of foreign governments have undue influence on our universities and how they teach our kids. Right now, our kids are number like 58 in the world as far as education. If we don't fix the problem with our borders, if we don't fix the problem with this fentanyl and these drugs coming across the Mexican border, if we don't fix the problem with the education system, I am worried about 2076, the 300th year of our country. I am worried that we're going to get there. Venezuela, in 20 years, the richest country in South America, went from the richest country in South America to kaput, gone, underwater. So it could happen to our country if the American people don't put their foot down.
Venezuela went in 2 decades from really, really good to really, really bad. And a number of people have noted that the U.S., at least under the Biden administration, have adopted similar policies and approaches to things that they did prior to that downfall. Are you worried that this is going to happen as quickly here, or do you think there's time to salvage it?
I think there's time to salvage it. We better do it over the next few years.
All right, John Catsimatidis, stay right there. We're coming to you live from New York, Times Square. You know we love this city, and I love to brag about it. It's That Kevin Show. We're coming right back.
Ready or not, we'll be right back.